What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. We were just talking here. I've got Jeff Cordero, who is a fantastic tire slinger, and he kind of owns a little bow shop out there in North Carolina too. So we're going to talk about all those things, guys. If you don't know Jeff, you guys are living under a rock. He's got a phenomenal YouTube page. Like I said, he throws tires in NASCAR. So, I still have yet to go to a NASCAR event because Utah doesn't really have any. But I need to sometime. Jeff actually got me fired up 2 years ago when we were in Ohio, about NASCAR, which is really exciting. And he decided to buy a bow shop a little over a year ago, or just about a year ago. So we're going to dive into all that, guys. Should you buy a bow shop? Should you do that or not? Who knows? But with that being said, for people that don't know who you are, Jeff, who are you, man?
Jeff Cordero. Like you said, me and my wife own Barefoot Archery in Charlotte. I have that gig, and then the other full-time gig is I change tires in NASCAR full-time, getting ready to go into my 17th season in 2026. So I'm pretty seasoned, as the
Yeah,
kids would say.
I'd say so. I'd say so. You're becoming the unk, as the kids would say.
Well, yeah, that's one thing I've been called.
Is it weird to see the kids coming into the role now, or what is going to be your future replacement once you do get to the point where you're done? Is it weird to see those kids coming in and like seeing yourself in their shoes 17 years ago?
Yeah. One
Yeah.
of them asked me today what year I graduated high school in, and I told him '06, and he went, "Damn, I was 4." I was like, "Yeah, cool. Awesome." Uh, no, it's good. Like, and we're in a totally different generation of like pit crew athletes in NASCAR, and like the funnel that they took to get into this position and the funnel that I took are two like completely different spectrums, sides of the spectrum. So it's cool to be able to like give them advice and be like, "Hey, these rules still apply. Like, do these things, the show up early, wear the right stuff, respect the people, do a good job, be a good teammate. Like all that stuff still applies regardless how you got there."
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. It's I guess something real quick I want to throw out there. What's the fastest pit time that you guys have had, or that you've had in your
Um,
career?
I mean, it just now it depends on what generation of pit stops you're asking for.
Okay,
So in
most
the current,
recent
yeah,
generation.
the one lug generation, probably somewhere in that like 8.5 range, 8.5 seconds. I'd have to go look it up, but yeah, we're somewhere
So
in
that's
that
four
ballpark.
tires.
8.4, 8.5.
Yeah, so that's 4 tires and how much gas?
4 tires, about 14 to 15 gallons worth of gas from the time the car stops to the time he's leaving, launching out of the pit box. Eight and a
8.4
half seconds.
seconds.
Yep.
Man, wow. That's that's a crazy stat for people out there. I mean, just go start a timer real quick and see how long 8.4 seconds is. You can't even get the pump from the gas, turning it on and all that stuff in 8 seconds, let alone 4 tires and 14 gallons of gas. That is ridiculous, man. That's crazy. That's awesome. Cool. So let's dive into a little bit here. I came across your stuff. I want to say it was on YouTube when I first started seeing your stuff. And then we became friends over the internet. Eventually, I had this stranger invite me out to his house to shoot some does. My wife was real stoked about that. She was like, "You sure it's not like the free candy in a van deal?" Like,
We'd met before that. Let's not lead people down the wrong impression here. We've met before that, like a couple times.
brief interruption here. I just want to let you know that right now, First Form has a phenomenal offer, 30 days free in the app that I personally use to check my food. As you can see there, this is my day so far today. But the app is super simple, guys. You get into the app here and you're able to track activity. You're able to track workouts if that's what you choose. If you don't have a program, you know, like the First Form Outdoors. This one's the at-home body weight. Let's see, we can go through. Anyway, you can browse all the different options on here, such as outdoor workouts at home if you have limited amount of weights or whatever it might be. If you're in a full gym, whatever, guys. There's so many programs in here available already ready for you. And of course, you can get a coach as well. So if you're looking for all of that in a great community, sometimes there's challenges in here like steps challenge, things like that, guys. If you don't track it, you don't know what's going into your body. I'm guilty of that myself. I've been there. I'm changing things because I feel like personally I have failed my family in the health department. I hit the gym every day. Nutrition is a big thing that I have let fall by the wayside, though. So, being more productive in the gym and more productive in the kitchen, both combined are going to end up with phenomenal results. I want that for you as well. So, definitely head over to well, first off, pin comment down in this video. Go to that to get 30 days free with the First Form app. Thanks so much, guys. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah, okay. He was just sending me trail cam photos and was like, "You want to come shoot some deer?" Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, but yeah, we met a few years ago, and then we've been on. We went on a hunt in Ohio together where you about knocked yourself out, which was funny going through all the little short people homes out there.
Yeah, the homes
And
built
then
in 18 of well, I was gonna say something else, but homes built a very long time ago are not made for
yes,
6 people, 6 foot tall people.
exactly. That was a very interesting day. Um, And then, since then you've bought a bow shop. We kind of talked about that last time you were on the podcast, announcing that. Now you've been through over a year of ownership. You guys have a lot of stuff going on out there at the bow shop. So I kind of want to start there. Let's talk about how this year has gone. Because you've got, not only do you have your full-time job with NASCAR, I mean, you and your wife own this bow shop, which if anyone's ever been into a bow shop, maybe you think that's your dream. um there's a lot that goes into it, more than just you get to be around bows every day. And it's cool to see you still shooting your bow as much as you do, because I know a lot of people that get so wrapped up in working on bows and all that, it's not that they're sick of archery, but they don't really want to pick up their own bow and shoot a Vegas round or any of that after a day's worth of work on other people's bows. So kind of walk us through this year, how that's gone for you guys, and talk to people that are listening. Maybe they're out in North Carolina and don't know about Barefoot Archery, where they can find you and all that.
Yeah, quick summary of Barefoot Archery. It is Charlotte's premier archery shop and has been since 1966. So we bought a legacy business. This year we're going into 60 years of Barefoot Archery in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hell, it's been in the same building since 1985, which is I was born in 87. So it's been there longer than I've been here. So we definitely purchased something. My wife and I got something that was a little bit more established. Than just deciding to start a bow shop. And kind of what you were talking about before, like I do still have the like I still get to go shoot tacks and I still get to do the things. And that's not because I'm awesome, it's because my wife is awesome, because she's the one that really crushes it on the back end for me. So I do get to just go play with bows. She's more of the business side. I'm more of like the fun side. So I get to go play with the bows when I'm in town, when I'm not on the road working with NASCAR. But she's the one that really, like, if you've ever gone to our website, barefootarchery.com, she built that from zero all the way up to what it is. We sell products online, the social media stuff. We built that together, mostly with her, me filming content, her posting it and getting it all up there. So I will say, like, the cheat code that we had for all this was definitely her. She's had some businesses in the past and she's learned a lot over the years. So when I brought this to her, it wasn't exactly like, yeah, this is a great idea. It was like, no, we're not buying a bow shop just so you can play with bows all day. But then once we kind of looked into like the number side of it, like the logistics and, can we turn this and make this a successful business, or take a business that's already existing and make it more successful and layer on top of it? And undoubtedly, we both said we could. So we ended up doing that. And a year of ownership's been phenomenal. It's been great. You will hear a lot of the old heads in the archery industry, and I'm sure some of them are going to hear this and they're going to tell me I'm wrong. But I think archery is probably on the uptick, especially with this, Joe Rogan, Cam Hanes generation. guys try to be more in the outdoors, be less bound to computers and stuff like that. People are searching, people are trying to find things to do to get them outside, and archery has been a huge factor in that. So, yeah, like we're seeing a lot of clientele come in. We're getting a lot of people that vowed to never go to the shop that we had because we turned customer service around and we focused more on like the person coming into the shop than just selling a product off the wall.
Yeah. And that's a big component to it. And honestly, people that are saying that it's on the downslope or maybe it's plateaued or whatever, I would also disagree. I mean, there's a lot of people getting into it. There's always this cool innovation, things coming out that are new. There's constant broadheads, arrows, releases. Just when you think you've got your setup dialed, there's always something else that comes out that tweaks it just a little bit more and makes it just a little bit better. Um, and the new shiny thing. There's some people that are out there that are shooting bows that they've had for 10 years and they like old trusty. But I think a lot of the kids that are coming up want to have the nice gear as well, and having a spot, with someone that like yourself knows a lot about bows, and it kind of, I guess, even going backtracking a little bit more, I would say it's it's almost impossible to have a really good business if you don't have a good spouse. Most of the business owners that I know that are successful, to whatever various degrees, there's a spouse in the background that is running the
Yeah.
ship while they're out, either being the figurehead or whatever. In this case, I mean, I can tell you guys, if you ever go into Barefoot Archery or ever interact with Jeff's wife, she does accept tips in the form of Dr. Pepper Zero Coconut. That will make her day.
Yeah, 100%. We actually got some special ordered and delivered to us by a friend of ours, not going to name names, but it's definitely one of those. I could not do this. I could never have done this without her. And then on the other side, I think she could have done it. She could do it now without me because of the people that we have hired that do the actual tech work on the bows. But like starting out, neither one of us individually could have done this, but together we're kind of like it was it was perfect. It just worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. So I want to talk about that a little bit too. So one, obviously have a good partner.
Hmm.
They're definitely going to make sure that, you guys are, and it's funny, even without us owning a brick and mortar store, my wife and I, we both work, we've got 5 kids, we've got lots of other stuff going on. And I noticed when things start to, I wouldn't say fall apart, but when I start seeing things like starting to fall apart, it's because my wife and I, yeah, we may go through, and go on a date but it's not a real productive date, or it's not productive check-ins that we have with each other, or whatever it may be. We're just kind of going through the routine of things. And that's another big thing, not trying to get on my soapbox of marriage or anything like that, but I kind of am, because it's super important to make sure you're checking in with your spouse, because you may think things are good and they see things falling apart, or vice versa. And it's always good to have those check-ins and not avoid the confrontations that may happen. Because when you are pulling together in the same direction, whether it's financial goals, business goals, fitness goals, whatever, I mean, there's a reason why, marriage works so well if you treat it well. Not looking for grass is greener on the other side, but watering your own grass, and fixing
Yeah.
your own household, right? That's super important. So with that, how is it? I can't imagine buying a new business, or I guess, it's a legacy business, but at the same time, there was a lot of improvement. I know you're not saying this. I'll say it from my perspective. Going into the shop, it looked like
You
the
did get a
80s had,
firsthand experience when you
I
walked
did.
in. We took you
It
before we flew you home.
Yeah, it looked like the 80s had thrown up on a pegboard. I mean, it just
100%.
it,
So that.
it's what it looked like. And nothing against the guy, right? Obviously, he kept the business open, loved archery, but you could tell he wasn't as passionate about it as he once was, the previous owner. So it was a great time for you guys to come in and give it a facelift, essentially modernize it. You made the range, more fun again. Going out there and having the competitions that you do, the complete remodel of the inside, and just the way you've got it all set up. I haven't actually been in there in person since the grand opening. or grand reopening. But when I do get there eventually, I'm sure it's gonna. I mean, just from the pictures and videos, it looks completely different. So if you guys had, are listening and maybe you had a bad experience, or you weren't overwhelmingly excited about going into the shop previously before this last year, I would say go give it another shot because you guys are doing stuff collaborations with Sitka. You had stuff with First Form. You've got tournaments going on, uh, and it's just a whole new shop. So I would recommend people go in
Yeah.
and check that out. But all of that to say, you bought a business, you put a lot of sweat equity, money, time, all of these things into this business, and then you still have your job. Your wife still has the stuff that she does outside of Barefoot Archery, and you're hiring people that maybe one of them I think was there previously and was a good tech, but you're trusting your brand new baby in someone's hands that
Yeah.
can completely ruin you, to be honest with you. If they set up five wrong bows, those five people turn into horrible customers, for life, telling people don't go in there again. So how was that transition?
We kept one person on from the previous, and she is a instructor. She shoots Olympic recurve. She's Olympic caliber level. So she's going to shoot for Team USA next or this coming year in 2026. So she's really good, but she didn't work on bows. She would help with some recurve stuff if people had questions on that. But when it came into it, the guy who owned the shop before, he was pretty much the only tech, and they had another guy that helped fill in on Saturdays. Um, so, like, when we took over, it was me most as much as I could. And when I had the racing thing, like, I wouldn't get there sometimes until 12. We opened at 10. So it was 2 hours of my wife just sitting at the counter, like, yeah, we'll take it in. And when he gets here, he can work on it, which we know that's not sustainable, especially for the volume of business that we knew we could do in, city of Charlotte and surrounding areas. So we definitely wanted to hire people. We wanted to hire good people. Um, and I worked in a lot of teams and a very competitive sport in NASCAR. And the one thing I noticed from every successful team, whether it is the pit crew, the whole team, or like the company in general, is people make the company. Like how you put the parts and pieces together, how you tie D loops. Like there's certain ways you do things, but it's how you can get those people to interact with your clientele base and how you interact with each other is what's going to separate you from just about anything else. Yeah, you can get somebody who can just come in and tie peeps in, but if he's an ass to work with, like nobody's going to want to deal with him, whether it's you working with him or clients coming in trying to get their stuff work done. So we made sure we hired really good. The two techs that we have working now for us, really good. And we're only going to grow and we're going to expand. And as this is going on, we're going to be getting ready to look for another person. So it's exciting. Before he had one person and he did, he could only do so much. And you saw how the shop looked. And so, like, adding more people, we can start layering on a lot more of the stuff that you see now, which is the social media side of it, getting the collaborations with Sitka, shooting the tournaments, getting more people in the shop to be excited about archery instead of just a place to go and just get a bow. We're trying to be a destination. Like, we want people to come from afar, which we're getting people to come from hours away, and I'm sure the YouTube and the social media, that's attracting and that's pulling people in. Uh, but not only are we pulling them in, we're keeping them as clients, which is obviously the goal of any business. So it's been a struggle, but not in a struggle in a sense in like we're like sleepless nights. We're there until 11, 12 o'clock at night because we decided, like the wife and I, like from the get go, we're not doing that. We're going to run the business during business hours. We're going to accomplish business stuff during those business hours, but we're not going to let this business run our life. Um, so we've hired good people to kind of fill the gaps. And the overwhelming part is like we're doing more than we thought. So we need to hire more people to keep turning out good quality work.
Yeah, no, and I love that. That's a good point too. Running your business, not letting your business run you, right? And not becoming a slave to the business, and setting those boundaries at the beginning is super important as well.
It's
Um,
really tough in the beginning.
mhm.
Even though it was an established business, my wife had been through this a couple times with other businesses. So it was definitely, she had the wherewithal, like going into this, like, hey, we're not going to do this. And I was like, oh, yeah. I just think every business is you buy it and you go and it's great. My one experience has been awesome. It's
Yep.
not that way.
No. definitely not. Yeah, I can't imagine that that would be a and she's probably looking at you like, "Oh, that's so cute, Jeff."
Oh
That's
yeah, she was making fun of me last night. 100%. Hmm.
you're like,
Pretty
"Oh,
much in the
today went
same
awesome,"
tone.
and she's like, "Really? Let me tell you
Hmm.
about what happened."
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And again, it's something that's super important to if you are going to go into business and that's another thing too people say is kind of taboo like don't go into business with your spouse because it's going to cause whatever honestly and again just being at your house for a couple days and seeing how you guys interact um you guys are a great team. I mean you guys had that established before you bought a business. Like again, don't go into buying a business or some big endeavor like that if you think it's going to fix your marriage, just like you don't need to have a
No.
kid to try and fix a marriage. Like, don't
Yeah.
don't do that. Go into it with, and like I said, I just from the way that I saw you guys interacting just behind the scenes and how things were going there, you tell you guys were a good team. There were some things that you communicated verbally, and there's other things that you guys just, you lived together and been together for a while that you can just read off of each other. Hey, today's not a good day for Jeff, or not a good day for my wife. I'm not gonna push these buttons today.
I wear it.
Yeah,
I wear it sometimes when I come home. She knows.
yeah,
I
yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, just go out to your shop. Just go go
just
do
go shoot
something
some
else."
arrows, do something. You're
Yeah,
being annoying.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, no, for sure. That's awesome, man. So for anyone, I guess I don't know, what would you say looking back on this year, and obviously there's gonna be more successful years to come, but this last year, what would you say are 3 big takeaways for anyone looking at even not necessarily just archery, going into archery business, but any kind of business ownership. What are some maybe 3 big things that you take away from and share with them from your experience?
One of them we've already touched on was don't let your business run you, run your business. And I think that one just goes into a lot of people like a lot of the stuff that's pushed out there on the internet, especially in like entrepreneurship, is you have to grind. And I'm paraphrasing a lot of this again for my wife because she's lived this more than I have, but I have lived this next to her while she's been living this. Is you want to make sure that you don't let this entire thing consume your life. You don't need to be up till midnight to do it just because it's a marathon, not a sprint. So just because, you don't have the website exactly the way you want it right now, you staying up to midnight or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. grinding, trying to get it done isn't going to make it productive. It's just going to take away from your life and it's just going to drain you in the long run. It's going to ruin your sleep quality. Then you're going to be miserable the next day and it just snowballs from there. So that's the first one I would say. The second one, and just I think this is any good business advice, is just, make sure you have good cash flow. Don't over leverage yourself. Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're not trying to take, $100,000 this year and turn it into 1 million by the end of the year. If we can turn that 150 to 100 to 150 and then keep layering it on there, great. And over time, you want this to be a long standing business. So lay a good foundation. And then the third one, you gotta have fun, you know? Don't pick something that you hate doing. Pick something that you're passionate like, I love working on bows. I love archery. I've been very fortunate in my life to be able to now have 2 jobs that I absolutely love, which is NASCAR and then working in archery. I have dedicated a lot of time in my life to the NASCAR and now going into archery. It's been over a decade now that I've been seriously into it. So I'm very passionate about these things. I try to stay up to date with all the trends, things that are going on, tips that are coming out, stuff that old timers want to give me that maybe everyone's forgot about. And then you're like, wow, that is more relevant than half of the stuff that I see on social media or YouTube. But yeah, I would just say don't let your business run you. Stay with cash, good cash flow, and then just have fun with it. Like it's supposed to be fun. You don't have to grind yourself into the dirt.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree with that more. It's again, it's something that you're passionate about, but also you don't want to. How I guess let me ask you this follow up question: how do you keep it from ruining your passion for archery?
I try to go out like when I'm trying to go shoot. Sometimes there's days I don't get to shoot. And then there's some days I will say the best thing that's happened is I shoot less arrows but I am more focused on the arrows that I shoot. Like I'm trying to get quality reps in now instead of just going out and shooting. Because before we owned the archery shop, I'd go outside for 2, 3 hours, whatever, and just shoot the little 3D range in the backyard or sit there and punch holes in paper. And like if I had bad shots, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep voluming it until they get better. And my archery, it got good, but it didn't get great. And I'm not saying it's great now, but like now I'm like, okay, I can only go in there. I get 2 ends of practice and I'm shooting 30 arrows. It's 36 arrows. That's all I get. It might only be 25 minutes. I'm gonna make sure all those arrows are good because there's no makeup arrows. Or I'll go out in the yard here and I'll check a sight tape and I'll shoot it. I'll shoot 20 to 80 like 3 times. And maybe that's 20 arrows or 18 arrows. And that's the time I get. I just make sure it's good. I still have fun with it, you know. So I don't know. Yeah. Don't let it just and I think that goes back to, like, the things we had already talked about. Like, if you just sit here and grind yourself in the dirt and you're restringing bows until midnight because you have nobody helping you and you gotta get 10 sets of bows done because you got 10 sets of strings came in, like, that sucks. Like, it's not fun. But if you can hire one other person to help kinda, like, ease that load where you're not working till 10 o'clock at night, it's a little you have half the load, cut it up, it's a little bit more fun. Yeah, and you're not grinding yourself into the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I can't agree with you more on that. That's a big deal, and like you said, you'll see it a lot on social media that grind yourself away, but maybe in some degrees, but also like, well, I'll just bring up Andy Frisella, right? People think that he's only about grinding and getting up early and all this stuff. You listen to him talk, he's like, dude, I don't get up till like 9. I think he said like 9 or 10. Maybe I'm misquoting him, but like he's not an early riser, you know?
I'm an early riser.
Yeah, exactly. And you and I are different. We're up at 5:30 in the morning, sometimes earlier, um, so that we can get done earlier, and he's the opposite, right? And so it just kind of it's definitely about managing your time, learning to do that, and also setting those boundaries with yourself is most important, but also if you have customers, if you have, a book of business, to put it that way, setting that standard of, hey, I'll respond to emails between this time and this time, or these days of the week, or whatever, I'll answer phone calls this time of day, um, and not just being a slave to whatever your book of business is. That's definitely a big deal. All right, let's nerd out a little bit about gear because you get hands
All
on all
right.
the new stuff and you get to talk to people about it all the time. So your personal setup this year for hunting, and then we'll talk. Actually, no, let's talk Lancaster first because that's coming up here real soon, isn't it?
Yeah, Thursday. I leave Thursday. Well,
Perfect.
I don't know when this is coming out, but very
Yeah.
soon, a couple days.
Yeah, so the week of SHOT Show, Lancaster lines up with it, the 3rd weekend of January or whatever, yeah. Um, yeah, I'll be out in Vegas getting sick, and you'll be out there shooting arrows in Pennsylvania.
We're supposed to
Uh,
get snow, so that'll be awesome.
send it our
Mhm.
way because we need it. But yeah, let's talk Lancaster. So you've been shooting, it looked like the Lift X? Is that what you're using for so walk us through your setup for Lancaster.
So I'm shooting the open division, which is pretty much run what you brung. 27 12 or 27 diameter arrows is the maximum you can use, but pretty much use whatever optics you want, magnification, bar lengths, etc. There's really no restrictions.
Is that
So
indoor or outdoor for people that don't know?
it's indoor. Yep. So
So
I'm
27s
shooting
aren't a big
a
deal because 'cause you're not worried about the wind.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of 3D guys that will you shoot the largest diameter arrow you can, so that way you can catch as many lines as possible. Because the guys that aren't, Bodie Turner or Kyle Douglas, the guys that can absolutely just plow the center out of a target, we're trying to, like, catch the line, like in soccer. If the ball's on the line, but it's not over it, it's still inbounds, it's kind of the same concept. We're trying to catch all the lines. I'm shooting a Lift X33 in Sitka Subalpine. Not like that matters, but it's funny when you show up to one of these tournaments with a camo bow because everybody's got all these target bows with these glossy target colors, and it just stands out a little bit. Didn't do it intentionally. I have a target bow uh, from last year in Elite Exalt, and the year before that was a Elite Verdict, but I just again going back to the not having a ton of time just to go play with things, I had shot that Lift X. I got it right before elk season. Shot it really well going into elk season. Didn't get to shoot it, but ended up using it all hunting season. Shot a buck in Kansas with it from the ground, walking in, Jonathan style. I don't know if I told you that.
You called
Oh,
me
okay.
on your
That's
drive
right. I
home, I
did.
think. Yeah.
Was yeah, because it was you've done that.
I felt really special. I was like, "Oh, Jeff cares about me."
I've been shooting that bow really good. Just the way I had it set up, it just held really good for me, especially on some of the longer range stuff. So it led me to believe like, hey, I can probably shoot this pretty well. It holds good, so let's just see how this goes for indoor. Put target bars on it. So I took the 15-inch bar off the front, put a 30 in it, and then took the 10-inch bar off the back, put a 12 on it. Changed my launcher blade out. That's the nice thing about the Hamskea rests is whether it's an Epsilon or the new R7, you can just pop the target or you can pop the hunting whale tail off of it and pop one of those G-Flex Hamskea blades on it for target. So it's a little less contact point and they got a little flex to them so they can be forgiving. Slap that on there and then literally took my entire target sight off and just slapped it in the bridge lock and went to town tuning it. And it did not take long. And that thing, it just holds really well for me. Um, and I know what the shot's going to feel like. And yeah, it's not anything super special. I changed from 75 pounds of draw weight to 60. Uh, I got the new Z mods on there, the Switchweight Z mods, which are, if you haven't tried those on a Matthews bow, it's definitely go to a shop that's got them. Shameless plug, if they don't have them, we do. So let us know. But
Heck yeah.
it's one of those deals where it's like, if this holds well for me and shoots well for me, I don't need to go out there and buy a Title 34 or a 38 or a Concept X, or I don't need to go have a target bow to shoot, high 298, 299, high X count games. I'm just gonna shoot it. I don't have the time. I don't have the want to set up a target bow to shoot one or two indoor tournaments and then not shoot any of the days or the 3D stuff. So I'm just gonna stick to my hunting bow that I know shoots the way it shoots, and I'll just punch holes in paper. I'm not a professional. If I go there and finish in the top 100, I'll be stoked.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And that's why I want to ask you about the setup because I know it's pretty different compared to a lot of the things I've got a Concept X37 set up, and it feels so different than a hunting bow that I shoot year round. Um, and I haven't tried the Z mods because I feel like the Arc got rid of a lot of the hump that Matthews has that I haven't liked. And when I shot that bow, even at 70 pounds, arrows are flying out of there.
mhm.
I've got the little 30-inch, but I mean, my 450 grain arrows are pushing 300 feet a second at 28-inch draw. Like, I don't even
you
know if I'm going to go to an 80-pound bow, honestly, unless I choose to use it for elk. It's just zipping,
just give him a shot. You're not like any but a Matthews has a little bit of a hump in it. Regardless, it's not like every year that hump gets a little smaller. I feel like, but there's always a little bit of a hump. We get guys in that are like, I just don't like Matthews because the draw cycle's stiff or it's got that hump. You slap a Z mod on there, and they're like, it doesn't really. I don't notice it that much. And then you put a regular mod back on after that, and they're like, oh wow, that Z mod that's nice. It
So
loses about 6 to 7 feet a second at
I
70
was going to
pounds.
ask you that. Yeah.
So you're sacrificing a little bit of speed, but if you got if you're a whitetail guy out east and you're prioritizing being able to draw smooth and slow and not have to like yank it back over that hump, you could probably get a couple more pounds out of your bow and gain those feet a second back. Instead of shooting 60, you could shoot 63, have a smooth draw cycle, and be right at about the same speed. So
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, I should try it. I mean, I will say for me, Hoyt is still the smoother, people were asking me that when I did my top 3 bows or whatever that caught my eye this year. And the Hoyt was still the smoothest drawing bow. It just for me didn't do enough change to warrant wanting to shoot that again when I've got, the RX9 Ultra. Like I don't need a tuning setup on the Hoyt because I've got Wild Arrow 10 minutes north of me, you know?
They
Um,
did they did the same thing that Matthews did 2 years ago, and, like, they've done it it's like they went from the Lift to the Lift X, and the Lift X was just
the lift
the
with a
shimmy.
tuning system.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, they didn't really change anything. Hoyt did that, but I think Hoyt spent their time wisely and got a new tuning system, and now whatever the next line of bows comes out to be, I think is gonna be can't wait to see what it is. Hopefully, it's something different than RX-11. Just rename it something. But you can pretty much go by which year it is, by which
What
bow
yeah, I
number
was
it
gonna say
is.
which one's gonna last longer, the Sharknado series or the RX?
God.
You know, how many
Yeah,
iterations are we gonna have? Or Fast and Furious. Those 3 need to be in a competition. Or how many
yeah.
letters can we add? Instead of the AX2, it's the Alpha AX2, and then
Yeah,
the
no,
Alpha
that's true. You're not
AX3.
wrong.
You know, it's like
Mhm.
oh man. Anyway, back to your setup there. So I do think that'll definitely stand out there in Lancaster. I think that'll be a lot of fun. One of these days
Now
when I
there's an entire division you can go shoot as like a bow hunter, where you take your bow hunting setup. It's literally the bow hunter class. It's I think you're limited to like 15 or 18 inches in front stabilizer length. So it's a 12-inch bar plus some weight, no magnification in your lens, so you can just shoot your 5 pin or your vertical pin scope that you have already on there.
do they allow a
And
slider sight?
yes,
Oh,
I just
okay.
don't. I'm not
That's
sure if
new.
you can. I don't think. I'm not sure if you can move it.
Okay.
So I think once you're set, you're not allowed to move it. Um, because I thought about doing that this year with that Darton sequel I have set up from last year with the HHA set. I was like, I'm just going to use that top pin at 20 and just let her eat. Um, and then I think you can still use 27 diameter shafts. So if your local shop's got something, great. Or you can be like one of the guys who works in our shop. He shoots a lot of the indoor stuff with just 6 millimeter arrows. It's a hunting arrow. It's a little bit more. He already has them. So you don't have to go buy anything. And he just shows up and shoots. And hell, he ranks out in the middle of the pack and he doesn't even have the cool guy stuff. So it's a good time.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so that's your Lancaster. You just shot a what, 299 28X or 20
No, it's like 24. I'm not a
24X?
28X guy.
I don't know, man. But have you shot a 300 with that bow yet?
Um, Not in like league or anything. Yeah.
Okay, but your own
I
rounds and
can,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
I can get in there. Yeah. I
Okay.
can get it right
Cool.
at there. It's
What are
usually
you
a sloppy
averaging?
300.
Yeah, what's your you're confident going into Lancaster that you're gonna hit.
My goal going into Lancaster this year is to shoot at least 40 of the 60 X's, which I've been averaging about 19 to 21 X's around, regardless whether I'm shooting a 295 or it's a 299.
And
Sometimes a
Lancaster
little
60
high.
arrows.
60 arrows, X's count as 11. So that's where like that's the thing I love about the Lancaster tournament is you can go there. Like Vegas, if you shoot a 9 on your first arrow of the first end of the first day, you're done. Like you don't get to you can shoot for the lucky dog, but then you got to shoot against 70 other guys that did the same thing. Whereas when you go to Lancaster, like you can shoot a 9 on your first arrow, and then if you can keep your X count up, those X's make up for those nines. So like I have a friend, fellow YouTuber, Average Jack, Nate Sellers, I think went to Lancaster last year, didn't miss a 10. So he shot two 300s back to back with like mid 40X count, qualified. And there was a guy who qualified in the top 10 who shot like three nines, but he shot like 50 X's. So he had a higher score, even though he shot more nines. It's just total score. So it makes it where you can plug a 9 or 2 and it's not the end of the world. You're like, "All right, I just get a couple more X's and it makes up for that."
Yeah. And then they also have 14s, right?
They had a 12, but that's only I have to qualify on Friday and then make it through this round of 64 robin on Saturday just to get to the final 8, and the final 8 is what they'll air on YouTube. And in that division or that the last 8, you can shoot for the 12 ring, which is pasted right there in the middle of the 7 and 8 line. And it's just a hair bigger than a 27 diameter shaft. So it's tiny.
Yeah. Hmm.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because yeah, if you miss, you get a 7 or an 8. Um, hmm.
If you're lucky, you miss bad and get a 9.
Yeah.
Sounds hysterical, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, one of these days I might make it out there. I'm still very, very new and finding an interest in target, but I don't know, like during the off season, I'm starting to want to shoot more long range rifles. So that might take over archery for me in the off season. Um, cool. So what about your hunting setup this year? What's you've obviously got hands on all the bows,
Mhm.
except the maybe the Chinese crap that they're trying to copy and
I've
send
seen
out
them.
there. Yeah, yeah. But what's the bow that you're taking this year for out west, and if you do go out west, and then and whitetail stuff?
Um, I'm just gonna put a big TBD in that because it's like it's way too early. I'm still like I still have a couple like 3 weeks left of deer season down here. So I got a Dart and sequel from last year, the 33, the ST2 set up with an HHA nitric sight on it, Hamsky rest, and that thing just rips. The Tritex from Darton, we started carrying those this year. Those have been phenomenal. They're easy to tune. Guys really like the draw cycles. The speeds are very comparable up there with the arcs and the Hoyts. So you're not really losing anything on speed. You have all the adjustments, all the tunability, and they really come in some like call it basic color packages, but like they come in just some pretty standard colors that like everybody can kind of get along with. The arcs are very nice. Matthews just kind of does their deal. They kind of lead the market. The Hoyts, they didn't really change much. But the tuning package for somebody getting who hasn't had a Hoyt, like myself, I haven't had one since an RX4 Ultra. It's kind of enticing. I do like the grip on the Hoyts of the stock grips. I like theirs probably the most. And now with the tuning feature, we've been able to, you get about 3/4 of an inch, I think. And you still have to shim the cams, which isn't that big of a deal because the shim system they got is not terrible. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff out there. That Sicario, I'm probably not going to be hunting with it, but we've set a couple of those up and they're fun, especially when you get an 80 pounder and it comes in at 88 pounds from the factory. All right, Cam Haynes, what's going on here? I was a little stiff on the old elbow trying to draw that back. But no, there's some really good bows this year, and I just haven't decided what I'm going to shoot yet. And be honest with you, I probably won't until maybe I'm getting ready to go to TAC. I might put something together, just decide like this is what I'm going to shoot, or I might just shoot something I shot last year, and then right before hunting season, just decide I'm going to shoot whatever I got in stock.
Okay, so I guess let's narrow down the question a little bit more. What are the top? I'll say I'll give you three things that you look for in a bow for hunting. We're going to say for hunting.
The top three things that I look for though, first thing is when I draw it back, how that back wall feels for me. There are companies out there like Elite's got a very large valley that you can kind of sit in, especially at that 90% let off and those 90% let off bows. I don't particularly like that. The Matthews, having an aggressive back wall where it wants to pull you forward. I like that because it helps me stay in the shot harder. The Hoyts with the adjustable foot, I'll put that thing down about 75, 80% because again, I like that back wall to be a little jumpy because it forces me to pull into the shot. I like to shoot an aggressive shot, and when I can be active, pushing in, pulling into it, I tend to shoot better. So I like something that's very firm on the back wall that forces me to kind of be active instead of lazy. At a 6'3" wingspan, and a 6-foot body, I like a taller axle to axle bow. It just fits my facial features better. I get a little bit more performance out of it. I feel like when I get into those like 29 and 30-inch bows, I just feel like I'm too dipped into it, too aggressive and not as comfortable. So how does the bow feel comfortably at full draw? Like, am I having to dip my head into the string or can I just draw it back, bumming my hand to my face and naturally just kind of sits well? And then the third one is just going to be more of how the bow feels in my hand. like grip wise? Can I do things with the grip to make it feel the way I want to feel, or is the stock grip? How does that stock grip feel? I like something very flat back on the grip. So like the Matthews ones, engage grip comes off first thing it does, and I'll shoot it off the Bear Riser. The Hoyts have a fairly flat back on theirs, even though it's rubber. It's not like spongy, and the Darton's the same way. It's got like a hard rubber on the back of it. It's very flat, and I can get my hand into it. Any bow I can shoot off the riser, I like doing that. I'm not really
Sweet.
too concerned about draw cycle. I'm not too concerned about vibration. I'm not concerned how the bow points with
Wait,
nothing
wait,
on it.
wait, wait. Hold on, Jeff. Hold on, hold on. We're gonna narrow that down a little bit here. So first off, draw cycle, I will say I agree. That's something you'll get used to.
Yeah, five,
People
ten
that
shots
focus
into
on
it,
that,
it's going to be
yeah,
fine.
yeah, just yeah, whatever. That's not even that shouldn't be a concern for people. Because there's ways to mess around with that. Draw weight, get 50 shots through it, whatever. But you're telling me that when you shoot an animal, the first thing that goes through your mind isn't, damn, that bow vibrated.
You want to watch a bow vibrate, take your string stop off. Go watch like when, again, this weekend, or this is probably already been done, but go watch the finals from Lancaster. Go watch all the top target shooters on on the stage. I guarantee you 5 of the 8 of them aren't going to have a string stop on their bow.
Yeah, I've taken the string stop off of my target bow because I
Yeah,
heard that
it
this
helps
is
with
you
left to
want to
rights
get the
theoretically.
feedback. And I'm like, okay, let's see how this feels. I shot it. I'm like,
Tuning fork.
yeah, it's like,
It's
okay. I mean, you got
terrible.
a 30-inch stabilizer sitting out in front doing this number right here. It's like, uh, but okay. So not concerned
Not
about that.
concerned about vibration.
Yeah,
Nope.
no.
Um, there is a difference, I think, between vibration of a bow, like when it goes off, how fast it vibrates and dissipates, and there's a bows that are jumpy. Like you get the bows that want to jump out of your hand. I don't particularly like those. But I'm not concerned about that or concerned about a bow that vibrates, because as soon as you put stabilizers, I run front and back bars. As soon as you put that on there, as soon as you put 8 to 12 ounces of weight, you put a sight on there, you put a quiver on there if you shoot with a quiver on, like you're going to eat a lot of that up.
I don't know, man. That one bow that I shot that one year was, I mean, it looked like it was about to jump out of my hand, apparently,
Very jumpy.
from all
I
the
know exactly which bow you're talking about, and I haven't really
all
fixed
the
that.
internet experts out there. And that bow looks jumpy. Okay. Yeah. No. Well,
The speed
I
bow
don't
version of that, very jumpy.
yeah, I don't grip it like a baseball bat. So yeah, it might pop forward a little bit on me. Oh man. All right. Okay. So TBD on the hunting bow. Let's see what you've still got a couple weeks of hunts. I might fly out there and pop some does, man. They keep popping up on your trail cam.
Yeah. Well, I put
You want
that
them off the
feeder out there
property?
now.
Just put yeah. You want them off the property, or you want some rain? I'll just come sit in a tree because that's what happened to me last time.
Yeah.
Jeff's in there sipping his coffee, looking at this backcountry hunter up in his
Hmm.
backyard shooting out of a tree. Oh
Literally,
man,
you walk out and
that's
you're in the
awesome.
grass.
I know, right? Cool. I guess with that, I mean, we've touched on, your business ownership, archery stuff. I mean, is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you want to bring up or talk about?
No,
Any
I mean,
frequently asked questions in the bow shop or anything that maybe you feel like need to be addressed?
no, no. I mean, that could be. I'd have to sit down and jot some of those out. I think that there's a couple misconceptions people have when they walk into a bow shop. And the first one is that I'm talking Barefoot Archery, I'm not talking any other shop, that we're just there to get your money, and we're not there to like get you in and get you a bow and the parts and pieces to have a good experience. There is a lot of people that we have come into the shop that are older shooters, have been doing this for a while. And they kind of, they might show interest. Maybe they've heard of Total Archery Challenge, or they've definitely gone out with their buddies who are now stretching it out further and further at the 3D range. And they wanna shoot the 3-pin fixed pin sight. They've never gone to anything else, and those are the ones where we're like, "Hey, like, you can buy this, you know, X brand 3-pin sight. You can just never do the sight tape on it." but now it has the capability of it. The turnaround to resell this if you don't like it is higher. But if you ever decide to use that sight tape, you can start stretching it out. When you're shooting 60, 70 yards at even if it's a massive target, like your groups are going to be a little bit big, but then when you go back to that 30, it's going to they're going to tighten way up. So we get a lot of that. The other one is speaking of the shooting, the long range stuff, like you see us out here shooting 60, 70, 80, 90 yards. We're not taking those shots on animals. At least I'm not. So I encourage people to go shoot out further than they feel comfortable with. And it's not a ploy to sell more arrows, even though we will sell you more arrows, get a bigger target. You can buy less arrows, but you can now stretch it out and it's going to
You can
help
also
you.
buy a bigger target from Barefoot. No, I'm kidding.
Yep. You can buy those Delta McKenzie Predator
Yeah.
36s with replaceable cores whenever they get here, because we ordered a ton more of them. But it's trying to get people out of their like you get the guy that comes in, like, I don't need a broadhead tune. I'm only shooting 20 yards. Oh, I'm never going to shoot mechanicals. We get that a lot in the summer, guys going on elk hunt. They're like, what should I shoot? And I'm like, well, if you're shooting 70 pounds and you have a 29-inch draw length, you can shoot whatever you want. And they're like, well, I'm not bringing a mechanical. And I'm like, okay, how much time do you have before you leave in this hunt? I leave next week. And I'm like, you're going to broadhead tune in a week. Like, you can do it, but you can also shoot a mechanical broadhead tune with one of those and have a much higher margin of error than you can with mechanical. And that's just my personal opinion. Um, Being at the shop a lot, talking to a lot of people, guys who shoot mechanicals typically are the guys coming in harvesting, like, we shot these broadheads this year and we saw these amazing results. And then you get guys with fixed blade broadheads that are like, yeah, I shot this deer, and like when I shot him at 30 yards, it hit him in the hind quarter. My pin was right on his front shoulder. And I'm like, okay, was it a tune issue? Did you slap this massive single bevel blade on the front of it the day before you went out there? It's just, I think, just get more familiar with your equipment is what it comes down to. And that's what we try to tell people. I don't care what you shoot, just be familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more with that. It's, there's a lot of stuff that I see. There's one that I can think of recently up at Wild Arrow. That this guy gripped his bow like a freaking baseball bat. And not
Oh,
only
yeah.
that, but his wrist, so he's holding it like this. And instead of you want to have that bone on bone, he's holding it like this and turning in.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I can
And
tell you
he
what I
comes
get.
in.
But can I finish the story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the string on the bow still?
How many times has he he's come in a couple times and
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. You guys did something right.
Look,
And that's the other thing too, is like,
look,
yeah,
I'm like a dentist.
yeah,
Like, when you come in with cavities, I can tell you either haven't brushed your teeth, you eat a lot of candy, you have poor dental hygiene. Like, you don't have to lie to me. I can see the evidence. Like, granted, there's things that happen. Guys do things, but like when you go to a bow shop, especially if you blew your bow up, just tell them, because then they can help diagnose it and get it fixed faster than you go, I just don't know what happened. Now, the next thing I got to do is I got to pull this bow completely apart, trying to figure out if like the bearings are bad in your cam, or like if something happened, or what spine area you're shooting, and trying to like diagnose something where you just shot it without an arrow, or you torqued the Jesus out of it. Like, just be honest with your bow tech. It'll be a much better experience for all of us. We're not there to.
exactly. And yeah,
I
you might have
hate
to
selling
fork
a
out.
bow and then a guy comes in with a blown
Yeah,
up bow, and I'm
yeah,
like, ah, it's the worst thing in the world.
yeah. You might have to fork out a couple $100 for some new cams or something like that. But like most of the time, the shop will be a lot more appreciative of you coming in and saying, hey, I screwed up. I dry fired my bow. If you think you're going to have that issue, get a Hoyt. You probably won't have too many problems. But unless you're shooting over 70 pounds, then that's where things get a little sketchy. But no, yeah, this guy, the thing is, like, don't blame the bow shop. That's the other thing too. Like, if you go into a reputable bow shop, this guy came in and he had derailed his bow multiple times, and then he tried to blame the bow tech
Mhm.
when he came back in. And the bow tech had already spent over an hour with him trying to get him his grip correct before he left the shop. And the guy was like, well, I got to go. And, he was like, all right, like, I'm telling you, this is going to happen if you keep gripping the bow like that. And sure enough, came in and the bow tech was so frustrated. He was like, I don't
Yeah,
even,
because
he was like,
it's now it's our
yeah.
fault, or it's the
Uh-huh.
bow manufacturer's fault, or it's the bow shop's fault. And if that guy has influence over 10 guys, that's 10 potential less customers you have now because of, yeah, something that's not
Everyone's
our
got
fault.
one of these. Take it, set it up on a tripod or what a makeshift tripod. Video yourself shooting and check your form. I mean, I did that too when I was getting into archery,
If you
and I
have
didn't
this
know.
grip,
Yeah,
don't
right.
try to
Yeah,
adjust it at full draw either, because that's bad too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't. There's so many things, and be malleable. Even if you've been shooting a bow for again a decade or more, like there's young guys coming in that are learning a lot more, know a lot more about the newer tech that want to help you. They're not trying to pull one over on you or say that you're incompetent or whatever. They just want you to get better. That's really what a good bow shop is going to do. They're going to spend the time with you. They're going to try and get you the best equipment for what you want, and spend that time with you to make sure that you're a better archer.
Like,
So,
things evolve. There's
yep,
absolute killers that just kill shooting fingers. And then you look at like the old Matthews and the Hoyt wood grips, the big high wristed, big fat patty grips that they had. And those were like, that was the best thing to do at the time. And like, as this thing in archery evolves, we realized like, hey, there's better ways to do this. Like, you just have to be malleable with the technology.
exactly. Yeah, learn from be willing to learn. Essentially, be coachable. Okay, I've got a couple questions. I want to do some rapid fire with you real quick just to wrap this
Let's
up.
go.
All right, index or thumb release?
I'm release.
We're talking in the hunting space. You're definitely way more into target archery than I am, but we're gonna keep it hunting specific because I feel like it's a lot more of the viewership.
I'm choosing a thumb release over an index release in just about every application.
Okay, cool. Um, speed or forgiving bow?
Forgiving.
Okay. Um, victory or archery arrows?
What? You broke up there. Did you say victory or archery?
Sorry, victory or Easton?
Um, I'll say victory.
Okay, and we'll be more specific. HLR or 5.0?
HLR.
Okay. Dude, I had one more. And I just lost it. All right. Let's go.
4 arrow
Oh,
or 6 arrow quiver.
yeah, right. No. Whitetail or mule deer?
Whitetail.
Yeah. Okay. If you
That
had
one hurt.
one animal to hunt the rest of your life, what would it be?
Elk. Like, can't
Yeah, I
even
think
get
I
it
asked
out
you that
fast
in the
enough.
last. I think I asked you that in the
Yeah.
last podcast, and I think it was the same. Okay, and then last thing, hunt of a lifetime. What is one bucket list hunt of a lifetime you have?
A Maine moose hunt, particularly
Maine.
with
Why?
my,
Why
yeah.
Maine?
I'm from Connecticut, so I'm from New
Oh,
England.
that's right.
So like I grew up there, and like somebody's dad would have like a Maine moose tag, and then it turned into like this entire family ordeal. Like, it was a whole thing to go up there and do it. I love to do that with my dad. That'd be cool.
I forgot about that. I should have remembered that you were from there because you posted something about the Patriots the the other day. Yeah. Mm.
Like, man,
Yeah, go Bronx. Let's
we'll
all
reevaluate
right.
Monday.
Yeah. I'm a Steelers fan, so we've had, years of making it to the playoffs and not doing shit with it. So, um, the big question now is, did Tomlin do really good with a crappy roster, or was he just a mediocre coach? We
We're
don't
gonna
know.
find out.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll figure it out. But yeah, with that said, I guess any last, that sounds weird, last words. Anything you want to leave with the audience, Jeff?
No, we've touched on a lot of it. If you're watching NASCAR this year, I'll be on the 47 with Ricky Stenhouse, changing front tires, going back to one of the first drivers I ever worked for in the sport. So that'll be fun. Got the Barefoot Archery. You can shop online at barefootarchery.com. We have a lot of stuff, and our website is continually growing day by day. Crystal continues to add more and more and more stuff to that. And as our inventory picks up, we'll be having a lot of that up there. So we encourage you to shop there. Free shipping over $149. YouTube is Jeff Cordero. I'm sure you're going to have all these links down below.
With an
Instagram is
E,
Jeff Cordero.
Cordero, not Cordaro. Cordero.
Yeah, not Cordero. Nope, there's another guy out there, or Cordero. Great follow, Steven Cordero YouTube channel, solo public or hunt public solo. Great follow. Yeah,
Sweet.
go check it
Okay.
out.
Well, I appreciate it, Jeff. Guys, definitely go check it out. And if you're in the North Carolina area, definitely go get your bow worked on there. It's worth the drive, wherever you may be. And honestly, you know, that area right there in Charlotte it's a beautiful spot. Even if you're just going as a kind of a destination,
So
Charlotte's a
much to
gorgeous
do.
area. Yeah,
So many
yeah.
breweries. I don't drink, but people tell me they're awesome.
And where there's breweries, there's usually really good food because I don't drink, but there's usually really good food
There's really good food in
right
South End.
around alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah,
Either the drunk people are making really good food or they just really like food. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave the links down below where you can find Jeff, his wife, and their, beautiful or awesome Barefoot Archery and,
a beautiful business.
yeah, beautiful business, beautiful Barefoot Archery. What's another B we can throw? I don't know. I'll figure that
A
out later.
big, beautiful business of Barefoot Archery.
It's
We build
so
big, beautiful bows. It's so
so
big.
big. It's so beautiful. It is the best. Barefoot Archery.
Hit the center every time. No misses. And we've lost the rest of the audience.
Orange man approved. Orange man approved. All right. All right. With that being said, guys, like I always say, get out, live your life, and love it.